Good morning. Welcome back to Near Post Flick On. Yes, it's official. Ange Postecoglou has been given his marching orders at Tottenham Hotspur. Daniel Levy's done it again. Yes, he has done it again. He's gotten rid of Ange. I mean, to be fair, it was inevitable, wasn't it? Let's be honest, it was inevitable. I mean, uh, there are a lot of Tottenham supporters that were hoping and probably praying that Ange gets another year to kind of carry on the good work that he has done in terms of not in terms of the league, but more so in terms of instilling a winning mentality into this group of players. But unfortunately, he will not be given that opportunity. He will not be given that chance as Tottenham have pulled the plug on Ange Postecoglou, and he has been given his marching orders. He's no longer Tottenham head coach, no longer Tottenham manager. Ange Postecoglou has been sacked by Tottenham Hotspur. And to be fair, you know what? I actually thought for a split second, for a moment, I thought, you know what? Seeing as he's won Europa the Europa League for Spurs, I thought that would probably be enough to save his job, but evidently not. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand Tottenham at times. I don't get it. I mean, we saw Mourinho getting the sack after you know what he did. In he got sacked literally a week before a cup final. It's crazy. And if they had let Mourinho stay on, he probably would have won that Carabao Cup. Tottenham would probably have two trophies by now in recent times. But no, the the powers that be sacked him just before a cup final. That's crazy to me. And they've done it again. They've gotten rid of Ange. Now, to be honest, if they had sacked Ange during the season, then you can understand that. But, the man's won you a trophy. You'd think there'd be a level of loyalty there, and also you have to remember that there'd been a lot of injuries at Tottenham. And I'm not making excuses for Ange. And he did come across as a bit stubborn at times in terms of being stuck in his own ways and not wanting to adapt in certain situations and in certain times. But you've got to look at the facts. And the fact remains that, yes, Tottenham had lost 22 games in a league season. And for a club as ambitious, and we say ambitious, inverted commas, as ambitious as Tottenham, um, this wasn't acceptable. They've set themselves a standard, and it's more of a regressed performance this season. But at the same time, you've got to look at the injuries. You've got to look at key players being missing, and you've just got to say at the end of the day, you've got to look at the negatives, but as well as that, you've got to look at the positives. And I think the positive is that Tottenham are in the Champions League next season. Tottenham have won the Europa League trophy, and they've actually got some silverware, and uh, that's down to the players, yes, but more so down to the manager as well. So you've got to give him credit for that, and you would think they'd want to build. You'd think they'd want to build on that, but unfortunately not. They've done it again, and I just hope that going forward, whoever they bring in, and it's looking like it's going to be Thomas Frank, he's able to come in and then hit the ground running. But I just think it's just a bit of a disappointment that Tottenham have parted ways with Ange Postecoglou, and a lot of people felt it was going to happen anyway. It was just a matter of time. And some insiders knew he'd already been sacked. But yeah, that's just how football is. Unfortunately, you win some, you lose some. But for me, if you are looking to build and if you're looking to move a side forward, seeing as you've enjoyed some level of success, it's important to build on that success rather than you know just tearing everything up and saying, nah, you can sling your hook, thank you very much for the trophy, you can sling your hook, because now you've brought in a new manager. Now he's going to have to bring in his players. He's going to have to work with some of the players that are already there. He's going to have to now instill his philosophy of football onto the players. The players have to now buy into all of that, and that could take time. Remember, Ange's only been there just under 2 years. So how long are you going to give Thomas Frank? Are you going to give him 2 years, 3 years? Are you going to give him a chance to kind of develop and instill his way of playing football onto the squad? Are you going to give him that backing to buy the players that he wants, as opposed to the players that you, as the chairman, wants, and say, yeah, these are my players, just coach them? It takes time. It takes time. Ferguson took what, 5, 6 years before he won something at United. But unfortunately, I guess this is just modern football. If you don't do the job, if you don't do the job in a timely manner, you will get the sack. But as I say, for me, I'm just disappointed that Ange wasn't given that opportunity, and it seemed as though he had, won the Tottenham faithful. It seemed as though he'd kind of, won them around. Don't get me wrong, there were a lot of people calling for Ange to be sacked, but having won that trophy, I felt that kind of changed the tide. But not for Daniel Levy. Not for Daniel Levy. As far as I'm concerned, as far as he's concerned, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for Daniel Levy. And yeah, he calls the shots at Tottenham, and he says, Ange, your time has come. Thank you very much. We're going to take this Europa Cup, Europa League trophy. We're going to put it in our mantelpiece, and it's going to look lovely. But you won't be here for that third season. So they've killed off the main character, but the show must go on. Who's the new manager going to be? I think my money's on Thomas Frank, to be honest. I think he is the front runner, and he more so than likely will become the next Tottenham manager. But for now, Ange Postecoglou has been sacked as the Tottenham manager. It's a shame. It's a shame, but the show must continue. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.